Fellas, let's have an honest conversation. When a woman is truly interested in you, you won't be left in the dark wondering how she feels. You'll know. Her words, her actions, her energy, they'll all be in sync, and you'll feel her presence even when she's not around. But when she's not into you, the signs are just as clear if you're willing to see them. The problem is, most men don't want to see them. We convince ourselves she's just busy, she's shy, or she'll come around. We keep chasing, hoping, and overthinking. And in the process, we waste time, lose confidence, and sometimes even forget our own worth. The truth? A woman who's not into you is doing you a favor. She's showing you that she's not the right one for your energy, your time, or your future. And the sooner you can recognize that, the sooner you can redirect your focus to someone who values you the way you deserve to be valued. So in this session, we're going to break down 10 clear signs she's not interested. Signs that, once you learn them, will keep you from chasing dead ends and help you show up with strength and clarity in your relationships. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, what you think, you become, resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, what you think, you become, resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Chapter 1. The Trap of Endless Giving. At first, it feels noble. You give because you have more than enough, or because you remember the pain of having nothing. You give your time, your energy, your attention, your resources. And for a while, you feel proud of it. You feel human. But here's the hidden trap. When you become a constant giver, you unintentionally train people to see you not as a person, but as a resource. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." If you do not decide who you are, the world will decide for you. And if all they see is a giver, then a giver is all you will ever be to them. The danger is not that kindness is wrong. The danger is that kindness without boundaries creates expectation. People stop seeing your actions as a favor and start seeing them as an obligation. They no longer thank you, they simply wait for you to perform, like a machine that is supposed to function on demand. This leads to exhaustion, the slow erosion of your energy, your joy, and even your sense of self. When you cannot say no, your yes loses its meaning. In the end, the endless giver finds themselves in an invisible prison, trapped by their own generosity. They gave to be loved, respected, or valued, but instead, they became a supplier for the comfort of others, while their own needs went unnoticed. And here's the truth you must accept. You can give without losing yourself, but only if you remember that you are not a bottomless well. Protect your waters, or one day, you will go to draw from them and find them dry. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Universal Goodwill. Kindness often carries with it a hidden assumption that if you treat people well, they will treat you well in return. It's a beautiful belief, but it is also dangerously naive. Lao Tzu wrote, "When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you." But the unspoken reality is, not everybody will. There are people who see kindness not as a gift, but as an opening, an opportunity to take advantage. In their eyes, your compassion is weakness, your patience is passivity, and your willingness to help is a signal that they can push boundaries without resistance. The ancient strategist Sun Tzu warned in The Art of War, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." While life is not always a battlefield, the same principle applies. You must understand that not everyone you meet will play fair. Kindness can blind you. It can make you assume a shared morality that simply doesn't exist in everyone. And once you believe everyone operates under the same moral compass as you make yourself an easy target for those who don't. In time, the overly trusting kind person discovers that their good intentions are not universal currency. Some will take the gift and return nothing. Others will twist your generosity into a tool for their own gain. The danger is not in showing kindness, but in assuming kindness alone is enough to navigate the world. It is not. Kindness must walk hand in hand with awareness. Otherwise, you are like a candle placed in the wind. Warm, glowing, but vulnerable to the slightest breath from those who wish to see you extinguished. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, "What you think, you become," resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Chapter 3. The Weight of Invisible Debts. Kindness has a strange way of creating a debt, even when you never intended it to. Every act of generosity plants a seed in the mind of the receiver. Some feel gratitude and nurture that seed. Others let it rot, allowing resentment to grow in its place. It seems illogical. How could someone resent you for helping them? Yet history and psychology prove this truth. People don't always like to feel indebted. Your act of kindness, instead of inspiring loyalty, can remind them of their own weakness, their own dependency, their own inability to stand without help. The French philosopher François de la Rochefoucauld observed, "We are more concerned about the return we make for favors shown us than about the favors we show others." The person you help might smile in public, but deep inside, they may feel the sting of pride wounded. This is why kindness often backfires. The invisible debt you never mentioned becomes a silent weight on the relationship. They either avoid you to escape the feeling of owing you, or they turn against you to even the scales in their own mind. In time, you begin to notice the irony. Those you helped the most are often the ones who drift away or turn cold. Not because you wronged them, but because they cannot bear the mirror your kindness holds up to their life. The lesson? Give freely, but without attachment to outcomes. Expecting loyalty in return for kindness will only invite disappointment. And when you help, do so in a way that preserves dignity, yours and theirs. For sometimes, the smallest kindness that doesn't wound pride is better than the grandest gift that makes someone feel small. Chapter 4. The Erosion of Self-Respect. There is a dangerous point in a kind person's life when their kindness is no longer about others. It's about fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of conflict. Fear of being disliked. When this happens, kindness stops being a choice and becomes a survival strategy. You say yes when you want to say no. You smile when you want to frown. You agree to things that eat away at your peace simply because you don't want to risk someone's disapproval. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius warned, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Living only to please others is not living at all. It is a slow, silent death of the self. The more you condition yourself to avoid confrontation through kindness, the more you betray your own values. And each time you betray yourself, your self-respect erodes. You stop seeing yourself as someone worth defending. You start to believe that other people's comfort is more important than your own truth. Here's the hidden danger. The world can sense when you no longer value yourself. And when people see that you are willing to discard your own needs to keep them happy, they will, consciously or unconsciously, discard you too. Kindness, when it costs you your self-respect, is no longer kindness. It is self-abandonment. And self-abandonment is a silent killer of the soul. The way forward is not to harden your heart, but to pair your compassion with courage. To say, I care for you, but I will not harm myself to protect you. This is not selfishness. This is the balance that allows kindness to remain a virtue instead of becoming a weapon against yourself. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, what you think, you become, resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset. Chapter 8. Legacy. Building what outlives you. The purpose of rising early, speaking less, working hard, staying hidden, being consistent, enduring, and mastering your craft is not merely for survival. It is to leave a mark, to build a legacy that endures long after you are gone. Legacy is not about wealth, applause, or fame. It is about impact. It is about building something that time cannot erase. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Every choice you make, every sacrifice, every act of discipline adds a stone to the monument of your legacy. Ask yourself, what will remain when you are no longer here? Will people remember your noise or your actions? Will they recall your excuses or your endurance? Your words may fade, but the life you build will whisper to generations. Legacy requires vision beyond yourself. It means working for something bigger than comfort, bigger than applause, bigger than now. The pyramids were not built in a day, nor were they built for the builders themselves. They were built for time. The same is true of your life. Chapter 9. Inner peace. The greatest victory is over yourself. The world teaches us to chase wealth, applause, power, and recognition. Yet the highest victory is not over others. It is over yourself. To conquer your restlessness, your temptations, your anger, and your fears is to achieve a peace that no storm can touch. The philosopher Epicurus once said, "He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing." Inner peace is not about having everything. It is about being in control of yourself, regardless of what you have. It is knowing that you are enough, that your path is enough, and that your discipline is your wealth. You can rise early. You can speak less. You can work harder than anyone. But if your soul is restless, if you are enslaved to comparison and validation, you will never feel whole. True strength is not only external, it is internal. It is the ability to sit alone in silence and feel content. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Inner peace comes from this truth. You may not control what the world does to you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose calmness over chaos, patience over panic, and discipline over distraction. When you find inner peace, you become unshakable. No insult can wound you. No betrayal can break you. No loss can defeat you. The man who has peace within himself is the richest man alive, because nothing external can steal what he carries within. Chapter 10. The Quiet Victory. Let your life speak. The journey is not about noise. It is not about standing on stages or demanding recognition. It is about living so powerfully, so intentionally, that your life itself becomes your message. The quiet victory is not seen in applause. It is felt in impact. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and builders were not the loudest, but the most disciplined. They rose early, spoke little, worked hard, stayed hidden until their moment, endured the storms, pursued mastery, built legacies, and found peace. Their victory wasn't in being heard, it was in being remembered. Lao Tzu said, "A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, 'We did it ourselves.'" That is the essence of the quiet victory. To live in such a way that your influence is woven into the lives of others without needing to shout your name. Do not waste your energy seeking applause. The applause fades, the lights dim. But the work you build in silence, the discipline you live with daily, the character you forge in private, these last forever. The quiet victory is when your enemies wonder how you succeeded without their approval. It is when those who doubted you are silenced not by your words, but by your results. It is when you look in the mirror and realize you did not betray yourself for comfort or validation. The world belongs to those who do not need to be seen to be great. Rise early, speak less, work hard, stay hidden, endure, master yourself, build a legacy, find peace, and let your life, not your noise, speak for you. That is the victory no one can take away. Chapter 11. The Silence of Strength. Walking without needing to announce. There comes a stage when the disciplined path forms a different kind of strength, one that requires no defense, no announcement, no explanation. This is the silence of strength. In a world where people measure themselves by how loudly they can declare their victories, the strongest are those who walk in silence, carrying power that does not need validation. Their presence alone shifts the room. Their calmness unsettles the noisy. Their silence speaks louder than shouts. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, "Character is destiny." The person you build in private, through your discipline, your restraint, your hidden labor, will determine your future far more than the words you say. To live quietly but with unshakable strength is to become untouchable. When you no longer feel the urge to prove yourself, you have already won. When you do not need applause, you are free. When you are content to walk with strength unseen, your path cannot be interrupted. The silence of strength is not about hiding. It is about mastery of the self. It is the state where the world no longer dictates how you feel, when people's opinions no longer determine your value, when you have risen beyond the reach of envy, gossip, and doubt. Chapter 12. The Eternal Flame. Living beyond yourself. Every discipline, every sacrifice, every hidden hour of work leads to this final truth. Life is not just about you. It is about what you leave behind. The eternal flame is the light of your example, the impact of your actions, the inspiration of your journey. It is the quiet fire that continues to burn in the lives you touched, in the lessons you embodied, and in the strength you showed when the world expected you to bend. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now lives forever in the echoes of eternity." The eternal flame is that echo. It is when people you may never meet draw strength from the story of your life. It is when your discipline becomes someone else's courage, when your silence becomes another person's wisdom, when your endurance becomes the seed of another's victory. The truth is, we all return to dust. Our possessions fade. Our names may be forgotten. but the flame of how we lived burns beyond us. Did we rise when it was hard? Did we stand firm in silence? Did we build something greater than ourselves? Did we live with such purpose that others rise because we once lived? That is the eternal flame. So walk your path with fire in your soul and silence on your lips. Rise early, speak less, work hard, stay hidden, endure, master yourself, build your legacy, find inner peace, and carry the silence of strength. In doing so, you will leave behind a light that cannot be put out. And when your journey ends, the world will not remember how loud you were, but it will feel the warmth of the fire you left burning. This is the end of the path. This is the eternal flame. This is victory forever. Comment below. What part of today's affirmation, what you think you become, resonated with you most deeply? Why do you think it struck a chord? Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're serious about changing the way you think and showing up as your highest self every single day, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss your daily mental reset.